Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I wanted to talk about a concept today, kind of a character concept that has been lost in modern society today for the most part. You hear the word not that often, but every once in a while, usually in the political context, surprisingly. But very few people understand this, and it seems like it's been lost in time. But I think this is a really important concept, especially for you guys out there to understand. So it is this word called gravitas. It is a Roman virtue. There's actually a whole series of Roman virtues. I'm not going to get into all of them here, but I think this is actually one of the most important ones in the Roman culture, and this is something that we seem to have lost today. If you look at the definition of it, it basically means, at least the modern definition, is dignity, seriousness, or solemnity of manner. So, what does it mean to have gravitas, and why should you have it? Well, so let's talk a little bit about what gravitas really is and why it would be important. So the idea of gravitas, again, I think it's been lost a lot. I think that definition is pretty simple, but this idea is that it's having a solemn seriousness of purpose, right? It's being able to focus, to have the gravity, right? Gravitas, the gravity of a situation when it requires seriousness. And I've talked about this a little bit. I did this exercise for you guys out there. I did this video on making eye contact. And part of the reason why I wanted you to be able to walk by someone, especially to walk by a woman, and to make eye contact and not smile is because I want you to develop some gravitas. I want you to be able to have a drive and a passion and a security, a solemn type of presence where you take things seriously and you project that. Because a lot of times what we do when we're faced with conflict, when we're faced with an awkward situation, is we smile or we laugh, we add levity to it, not gravitas. We try to make light of the situation. It's sort of a disarming effect. It's a very weak tactic that we use to avoid conflict. Now, I'm going to do a video about avoiding conflict and why you shouldn't, probably coming up here soon, but I want to talk about this topic. So basically, having gravitas is being able to face a challenge, being able to be solemn and to bring seriousness to something, and to be sort of that rock, right? To have gravity, to understand the gravity of the situation, to project that. And that's really important in a few different aspects. For you guys out there, it's important in attracting women. There was a study that was done that showed that a male's face, right, that actually for women, that if they smiled, that was considered more attractive to a man. And for men, it was actually, smiling was less attractive. If they had a determined or more of a fierce face, a non-smiling face, that was more attractive. So it doesn't come from just the facial attribute. It comes from this idea of seriousness, of being sort of having the solemnness of a warrior, of projecting that into the world, of showing that you have the ability to go forth and conquer, and that you take a situation serious, right? That's kind of the key. Now, it's balanced out, right? You shouldn't just be like, you shouldn't be the guy that shows up at the party and is like, what the hell? I am serious about this. No, right? You can't just be totally serious all the time. Everything is life or death. That doesn't make sense either, right? You got to be able to shift, but when the situation calls for seriousness, you need to be able to be serious, and very few people today can do that. So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is just in business. The reason why we hear gravitas used in a political context is because we want leaders who have gravitas. We want leaders who can be serious and who can be solemn and who make something into what it really is. We want leaders who don't make light of things. So many people take the easy way out and they make light of things. They laugh, they smile when they should be serious, and we have very few people that can be serious when they need to get down to business and that they can take things seriously. We can trust someone who has gravitas because we know that they are a force. They're a powerful force and they can't be stopped, and they bring the seriousness, the solemnness of a situation, right? Think about a warrior going to war. You want them to have gravitas. You don't want them to be laughing and joking around. There's a time for laughing and joking around, but when it's serious time, when there's things on the line, you don't want them playing around. You don't want them making light of the situation. You want them bringing gravitas to the situation. So this is something that you can practice. You can practice being serious. Like I said, there's that exercise I told you about, making the eye contact and keeping it, not smiling. But you can also just recognize in yourself certain situations where here's the thing, when you start to feel uncomfortable, right? This is where you smile, and this is guys and women, right? You have that uncomfortable laughter or giggle or smile, right? I want you to start recognizing that when you're doing that, and instead bring gravitas to the situation, right? Because that's where it's going to be mostly employed, right? It's going to be situations where you're suddenly put into some kind of conflict with a person or an awkward situation, and to make light of it, you laugh. And what that does is that projects weakness, and you don't want to do that. You never want to do that in negotiation. You don't want to do that in general, because people are going to walk over you. It's going to make you look weak. Instead, you want to present strength and firmness and security, solemnness, gravitas. So practice that when you feel awkward and you feel those situations where you would do a nervous laugh or smile. Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to come back and you're going to bring presence, gravitas to the situation, and you're going to see some good results from doing that. So anyway, I thought I would do this video. I'll do probably some more on some of these kind of character attributes. I think it's important. I think we've lost track of a lot of the virtues of old, and we no longer focus on developing character, right? What we focus on is sort of tactics and techniques, and those things, they may work in the short term, but when we really develop our character, when we focus back on virtues and principles, we have more successful, more happier lives, because there's something deeper to that. It is the way that the world works. We find the deeper truth in things. So anyway, I don't mean to get too philosophical on you, but if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know if you want me to cover some more virtues or some questions about some of these things. I'm thinking about doing possibly a series on the Roman virtues or virtues in general, and talking about each one. If you're interested in that, do a thumbs up and leave a comment below, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.